What's going on, everybody? Welcome in. Dylan and Ross Save Sports. It is Thursday somehow or another. You got myself, Ross Jackson, at Ross Jackson, Nola, Dylan Sanders at Dilly Sanders on Twitter. We appreciate you being here, whether you're listening live, watching later, listening later, however it is that you tune in with us. We thank you very much for checking us out here at today's episode of Dylan and Ross Save Sports Full Press Coverage, Full Press Radio Network. Dylan, how's it going for you today, buddy?
It's going good. It's going good, Ross. It's going good. It's going, Ross. It's going good.
Come on, guy.
Come on,
dude. Have you ever met anybody that refers to people as guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're all over the age of 40.
I love it. Oh man, what a day! What a day! Hope you're doing well, everybody that's listening. Dylan, hope you're doing well also.
I'm doing great.
Good. Very, very glad to hear it. You deserve it. How has everything been going for you throughout the day today? It's a busy day, kind of a nice day.
I've had 2 straight days full of schoolwork.
Gross.
But I also took a nice nap today.
That's good. That's good. I am in need of a nap. As Dylan knows better than just about anybody at the moment.
Yes, we were trying to figure out what Ross is wearing.
Yeah, I literally logged into this and then I asked Dylan, "Is this the same shirt I was wearing yesterday?" Because I have no recollection of time in between the last couple of days. So I need to make sure that I carve out some time to get some rest because I am not a work myself to death type of person. That is not something I subscribe to.
All right, Ross. I before we get into like the favorite things from Twitter, I sent you my favorite thing from Twitter. I'm sending it to you via Twitter DM so you can share the video to us since I don't get sound on my videos for whatever reason.
Cool. Happy to do it because I actually have to do the same thing for mine too because mine is also going to need sound.
All right.
I'm going to laugh if our favorite things from Twitter are the same thing.
I don't think it is.
They're not.
All right.
All right, let me know. Oh, it looks like we're ready. All right, perfect. You good?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Here we go. Good.
Hold on. Nah, they killing no way they're gonna kill this pitcher.
What the hell? What is life? Oh my goodness. That's insane. They just pushed that pigeon over the edge?
Yeah, they did.
What rude pigeons. Dang.
That's
really wild. I didn't know I was signing up for violence today on today's episode.
They pushed him into the train, dog.
Dang. Ruthless pigeons.
And as the caption says, only in New York.
Yeah, for real. Conspiring. Oh my goodness, that's just nuts.
I switched to below for years.
Oh yeah. All right, here's my favorite thing from Twitter. Have you seen this?
Yes, I have.
And it's great. Yeah, this is great. This is fantastic. It's not the full, like there's a full 3-minute and 31-second one. Actually, oh no, it's in trending, so I don't know if it's there anymore, but it's worth trying to find that one. Here is Candace Parker joining the TNT post-game show and talking a little bit of modern basketball to Shaquille O'Neal.
I think you switch at the point of pick and roll, but I do think that Jokic, like the NBA switches now, right? Mm-hmm. So
why? Whatever happened?
Because everybody can shoot threes.
Whatever happened to man up?
Because you're going to be manning up, trying to recover back to your man, and they're going to hit a three just like Jokic did.
No, but whatever happened to pre-rotating and
then they move the ball around. And
you got 4 to 5 3-point shooters on the court. You ain't gonna rotate enough time.
Not rotating. Not rotating.
Yeah, but you got to take the easy pass away. Like if you ain't gonna switch, you got to take the easy.
So that's what I'm saying.
Now you have guys that can throw the ball from one side of the court and find the guy in rhythm.
Okay.
But that easy 1-5 pick and roll, the big is so far back like Shaq used to be all the time.
And we won a championship.
But here you go. Just throwing a shot at you, big fella. I love you.
No, but then we won a championship.
We did.
Thank you.
Because you started getting up on the screen. But
I think you switch at the point.
It's such a good moment. And I think people are rightfully saying, hey, get Candace Parker on more of these. Candace Parker, of course, still has still has career left to play. But
Mhm.
man, she was super dope. I really hope that they actually do make that work at some point to where she gets involved, because that would be awesome. You don't usually get conversations like that either in these post game shows.
No.
It's usually like jokes and everything like that, which is great, but like you don't usually get like that in-depth like in the weeds conversation and all. That was a pretty cool thing to catch.
Yeah, and man, Shaq is
He's so,
something.
Shaq's been wilding a little bit lately. Forgetting he's on his burner. And
He's,
he's not on his burner.
Yeah. It's getting a little crazy. Shout out our boy Ross, our boy Todd Peterson.
Todd Peterson
Pitched in spring training today.
Oh, dope!
He got an out.
He got it out.
Yeah,
Love it.
he pitched 1/3 of an inning, but he got an out. So that's all we can ask for.
There you go. How is LSU baseball holding up so far?
Oh, great, Ross! Did you see the game yesterday, or at least what happened yesterday?
Oh yes, but I don't know if our listeners did.
Yeah, I'm just saying. But yesterday, LSU played 2 games. They won the first one 5-4, and won the second one against Southern 16-1.
It's just absurd, man. It's just absurd.
Dylan Cruz is not human.
Man, look, that dude. He's the one that's supposed to be in the major leagues right now, right?
Yeah,
Or not supposed to be, but that under usual circumstances would be
he'd be in the minors,
in
but
the,
still,
or in the minors, yeah. But he would not be playing in college.
We'd never touch a baseball field. And now Ross, he's going to be at LSU until 2023, because I don't know if you're familiar with the baseball rules. Is you can leave out of high school, but if you go to college, you have to go to college for 3 years. But then also what's cool in the MLB that I think college football should do, you get, after your 3 years are done, you can enter the draft. But if you get drafted and you're like, I feel like I can raise my stock, you can go back.
Nice. Just let you be like, nah, I'm cool.
Yeah. Now I'm chilling.
Oh man.
So
Could you imagine
you'll leave a little early and you're like, I think I could go higher. I think I could go higher.
Yeah. Well, there would be no more mystery, right? There'd be no more mystery of like, oh, had he waited a year, he could have had better draft stock.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like either you do or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Or you figure it out.
Or you're like Dylan Moses and you have no more draft stock.
Right. Yeah, man. Big time fall. Although I still see people mocking him in the first round every now and then.
He did not look good this year.
It's rough. It was a rough year. I mean, it was a rough year for a lot of college players, right? But yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I hope Dylan Moses figures it out, because he was mocked to the Saints in the first round for 2 straight years.
I know. Like every damn chance. Like,
I mean, that's what I've been doing. I've been doing that with Tylan Wallace.
It has been 2 years for Tylan Wallace too. They did a great interview with Tylan Wallace over at the Draft Network this week as well. Justin Mello did a great interview with him. And all, which is so. Ooh, Trevor Sikkema actually updated his mock draft today, adding rounds 2 and 3 over at the Draft Network. See if there's any big fallers that we should talk about. Amon-Ra St. Brown in the second round, early second round. Samuel Cosme at 41. Joseph Osai at 42. Jason O at 43 to the 49ers. Pretty good fit. You got Rondale Moore to the Patriots. Make it happen. Travis Etienne all the way down to 49 to the Cardinals. Dylan Radden is 56 to the Seahawks. Let me tell you. Pick 60 for the Saints. Brandon Browning. That's my guy.
Ayo.
Ooh, Trey Smith going to Kansas City. I like that. Big fan. Hamilcar Rashed Jr. also going to the Saints. Hamza Naziraldeen also going to the Saints at the bottom of the third round. Okay. All right. James Hudson to the Panthers at 73. That stuff. I want to see who Seattle drafted, because Seattle's back in the news today. Not for any good reasons at all. Oh, that's right. Seattle only doesn't have a third or a first round pick. Yike. Get out of there, Russ. Get out of there, man. Some news throughout the day talking a little bit more loudly about Russell Wilson and the divide between Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks, particularly between Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks head coach, Pete Carroll. Diana Rossini, though, not refuting, but correcting a little bit, saying that the Seahawks are not actively shopping Russell Wilson, but they have answered the phone when other teams have called, which I don't think should be a surprise at all, right?
No.
Like if you have any kind of a rift at all to the point to where like you have a quarterback that may not be actively trying to demand his way out, right? In terms of like actively asking for a trade, you still have a guy that is publicly saying, these are the teams I would like to play for. Here's why I'm disappointed, kind of calling out the offensive line, things like that. I could see a world in which you still, listen to what folks have to say that you have to offer or that they have to offer and everything, and figure out exactly what could be a good package for you. Because they've talked about 3 first-round picks, and then of course there would be players involved in that as well. I imagine a quarterback probably coming back to Seattle would also make a lot of sense. One of the reasons why I think the Raiders can put together such a good package for him. Earlier first-round picks than maybe the New Orleans Saints. A quarterback that they could give up that maybe the Seahawks like better than Nick Foles, right? Those kinds of additions I think are helpful, but it's a team right now in the Seattle Seahawks that really only has free agency to prove to Russell Wilson, like, hey, you want more organizational input, tell us what you want for free agency, and that'll be the Seahawks' opportunity to go out there and prove something, because they're not going to be able to prove anything in the draft unless they trade Russell Wilson, which would then be kind of counterintuitive. I'm still contending that Russell Wilson doesn't get traded this early in the offseason. I would wait to see what happens within, the next couple of with free agency and the next couple of phases of the offseason, but I'm not sure that it happens too quickly. But
It's interesting happen right now.
I was just say interesting to see what the rift is there. Yeah, it was at that time that I was trying to get the Bucks to blow a game, and I predicted them to win by like 50 points,
and then
that
they
didn't
did.
work. Yeah, that didn't work at all. Did not work at all.
Man, well. Who knows, man? I am sad. I'm sad that Thomas Morstead's gone.
Yeah, that was a big deal. I love that New Orleans gave him a press conference. Like usually, some of these kind of moves by teams, either players that are special teamers or that are aren't saving a ton of money for the team or whatever, don't get things, but don't get like their own focus or their own press conference and everything like that. But Thomas Morstead meant so much to the fan base, so much to the organization, that they gave him a press conference after informing him of his release. He was actually on his way to Will Lutz's bachelor party while doing the Zoom conference, but had some really spectacular things to say about the organization on his way out.
Man, could they have not put a bummer on that party?
I know, right? That was like that time that they traded Jimmy Graham and they called him and he was flying a plane. Remember that? He was like actively piloting a plane when they called him and told him, hey, you just got traded. We're trading you to the Seattle Seahawks.
Man.
But yeah, it's tough, right? Like this is just that part of the offseason where you have to make these sort of tough and meticulous decisions as an NFL franchise in order to make sure that your franchise is moving forward into the future, and making sure that obviously, like in the Saints case, that they get under the salary cap and things like that. And so, a lot of it is performance evaluation versus cost and things like that. So there are a lot of factors and everything, but I just love how much respect they showed him, and deservingly so, right? He deserves the respect for sure. But I love how much respect they gave him with giving him an opportunity to get that, press conference to talk to everybody, talk about the fans. He even spent some time talking about who we assume is going to be his successor and Blake Gillikin. It was a really great thing for the organization to do that.
I'm a big fan of Blake Gillikin.
I'm a big fan of Blake Gillikin's mullet. I don't know if he still has it. I know he had it at Penn State.
He better have it. I was texting my brother today, and I was like, "Oh, the Saints cut Morstead, end of an era." He was like, "Yeah, I saw that." I was like, "His backup has a sweet mullet," And he replied, "That bodes well." Because
dude,
it does.
Yeah, it really does. And he's a phenomenal punter, too, is the thing. He's got, I think it's a pair of 80-yard punts in his career at Penn State, career leader at Penn State in punt return yards. You did a great piece on him, didn't you?
I wrote the year in review for him for Canal Street Chronicles, which didn't have much, but it was mainly just reflecting. And now this article makes a lot of sense. And now this article is relevant again because he had in 2019 he played for Penn State. Gillikin had 36 out of 63 punts land inside the 20 over his career. Since the year 2000, he's ranked top 10 in Big Ten punting yards and yards per punt. And on one particular game, he had 354 total punt yards, five inside the 20 and 3 inside the 10.
Jeez.
All in one game.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Yeah, he was a really big time guy for Penn State. I mean, he was phenomenal. And Saints kept him around. He went on injured reserve last season and everything. What's up?
Blake Gillikin had released a statement about Thomas Morstead.
Good.
Do you want to read it?
Yeah, go for it.
To me, there isn't a more impressive player in football than Thomas Morstead. As a young player, you look for people to emulate and model your game after. Thomas was that guy for me, and I was lucky enough to spend a season alongside one of the best to ever do it. He took every opportunity to build other people up, including myself. Beyond the future Hall of Fame punter that he is, his example as an incredible person, philanthropist, teammate, and father is one that I will follow for the rest of my life. There aren't any words that could express how thankful I am for the knowledge and advice he's given me. This certainly isn't the end of his story. Anyone who knows Thomas knows he's far from it. Thanks for the memories, number 6. You're a legend.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's really cool. I love how much love he's got. Now the Saints drafted him in 2009, their Super Bowl year. He was a rookie when they won the Super Bowl and everything. Like it's just cool, man. Like to see them give this much attention to this move and everything. Because you have his statement, Mickey Loomis, Sean Payton releasing statements, New Orleans Saints releasing a thank you, giving him the press conference. Like Will Lutz tweeted out a thank you, made a statement. Like it's just cool. It's just cool to see all of that. In a league with a structure that allows fans and not really franchises, but that allows fans to maybe forget punters, right? Special teamers and everything like that. Like for him to be getting this much attention right now is really cool. Really, really cool. I'm a big fan.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's weird. Ross, after this season, there'll be no more players left from the Super Bowl team.
Maybe. Depends on what happens with Malcolm Jenkins.
Oh yeah, I forgot Malcolm Jenkins was on the roster again.
Yep.
Never mind.
He's the last remaining one, if I remember. Yeah, he's the last remaining one.
Well,
Drew Brees if he retires, but
when he retires, that dude's not playing for $1 million.
I can't imagine any player doing that. Like we just saw Big Ben take a $5 million pay cut basically at this point, if I remember correctly, and that was kind of it, to stick around and everything. But like for Drew, like taking essentially a $24 million cut, right? $23.925 million and everything. Like you're not going to stick around and play on a $1.075 million contract when you just fractured or had 11 rib fractures, a punctured lung, plantar fascia issues, torn rotator, or a rotator cuff injury, excuse me. Like, ain't no way you're paying on vet minimum with all of that stuff coming out of 2020 and it coming into 2021 at 42 years old. I don't think so. It doesn't make sense. I'm not going to doubt him. It just doesn't make sense though.
Yeah. I was under the impression that Thomas Morstead was about to retire, but I guess not.
There was like some people kind of talking about that, like if Drew Brees retired, then the talk was maybe, and this wasn't like rumors or anything, that was just speculation, but that maybe Thomas Morstead retired as well. He had a down season last year. People, I think, didn't realize it was because of injury with the back injury and stuff. And then he kind of got to this place where it was like, okay, well, if Drew retires, like that's kind of like Thomas Morstead, like they're very close. Maybe Thomas Morstead also goes. So
Yeah,
it
but
was
now,
kind of like a maybe type of thing, but not really anything that like indicated that that would actually happen.
but now everyone's talking about him going to go, what team he's going to go to next.
Yeah, because he feels like he still has something to give a team. He wants to prove that like 2020 being a down season for him, where the Saints still only gave up 46 punt return yards, like historic 46 punt return yards. That's all they gave up in 2020. And so I think he still wants to
he's still a
prove he's
great
got
punter.
something.
But the Saints got to save whatever money they can wherever.
Yeah, for real. I mean, like it's just one of those hard choices that you have to make. And when you have a young guy ready to go, it makes we just saw it with Josh Hill too. Like they released Josh Hill and they're ready to go with Adam Troutman. It looks like everything, although they don't have any knowns at the tight end position at the moment. I know we're talking a lot of Saints stuff right now, but it's interesting to see how all of it unfolds.
Let's talk about let's stop talking about the Saints. Let's talk about basketball. The Pelicans, man.
Oh my goodness, dude. I know that there's no transitive property in sports, but geez, was that frustrating. You have this team go out there and knock off the best team in the NBA at home in Utah up against the Utah Jazz, and then they drop this game, not really putting up any kind of a fight until the very end of the game.
And it all came from Jackson Hayes,
right?
Which is the weird part.
Right. So you get all of that, and it's like it's wild. It's absolutely wild. Like then they drop this game to the Bulls, and this is the second time they've lost to the Bulls in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
the last time was when they dropped like 73 3-pointers on them.
And then tonight, Ross, they play up against the Miami Heat, who are rolling.
Yeah, they're hot, you might say. Heating up. They're heated up.
Ha
They did this thing on the Pelicans Twitter account. You're like, who do you think is going to be the Panini card player of the game? And they had like Lonzo, they had Zion, they had Brandon Ingram, and somebody commented and said probably somebody from Miami. It's like, oh goodness. Yeah, there's not a lot of faith in the team. Like it's hard when you have like that high of like knocking off, like as a fan base to have that high of knocking off the best team in the NBA, and then you turn around and drop a game to the Bulls. Like that's tough to bounce back from.
Funny that the Lakers are now the 4 seed without Anthony Davis.
Yeah, they have struggled quite a bit without AD.
Which we expected, but it's never. I don't know. Yeah, it's.
I don't think you ever expected like to this extent, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we knew they would struggle without one of them, but they're struggling.
Right, like you're always going to struggle without a star.
But yeah, you still have Montrezl Harrell and Marc Gasol. You should be able to win games.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at what so they have won 2 of their last 7 games. You can even say 3 of their last 9 if you want to look at it that way.
3 of their last 10, Ross.
Oh, 3 of the last 10. Oh, yep. Jeez. Yike. Yeah, so it's been
well, the Rockets have lost 13 straight, so.
I was going to say, the Rockets last night, they hosted James Harden for the first time since the trade. How'd that go for the Rockets?
It felt weird.
Yeah, I bet.
It felt weird, but of course, James Harden, triple-double. James Harden's having an incredible season, and I'm happy for him.
That's good. That's a mature way to look at it.
Yeah. He's getting the respect that he's always. It's kind of frustrating, but he's finally getting the respect that he's earned.
Yeah, I thought they actually did a pretty good job talking about that on the broadcast on ESPN last night, because they were talking about how like a lot of folks are all of a sudden giving James Harden credit for changing up his style and the way that he's been playing, and everybody's like, he ain't changing anything. Like he's just doing the same thing. He's just in a different jersey.
Well, have you seen the direct James Harden quote? He was like, I have changed nothing. I'm just getting credit now.
Yeah. So even he's seeing it, right?
Yeah. No, and he's having an incredibly efficient season. Oh,
yeah. He's been really good.
Like very good. Very, very good. down on points, but I mean he's leading the league in assists. He's 7.8 rebounds a game. He's touching the ball less. There is a little bit less of him holding the ball, but still.
Well, that's one of those things. Like one of the biggest criticisms about him being traded to the Nets was how is he going to work with Kyrie Irving? Like considering these guys both like, one ball guys, how is this going to work with having both of them share the court? And what you're seeing is James Harden continuing to pass the ball, move the ball, create opportunities for others. Like you said, he's leading the league in assists now. So if there is any adjustment that was made in terms of what people what their expectations were, is that he's sharing the ball, but he's always been willing to share the ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. It's people just hated him in Houston for no reason.
Yeah.
It was always really, really annoying to see. But I mean, they do want an MVP, so it's not like any of this is new.
Right. Not at all.
And I cannot wait for him to come back in 2 years and win the Rockets a ring.
I love how much you're into the idea of him returning.
Oh, you ask any Rockets fan, and if they say that they would not welcome him back with open arms, they're lying to you.
Absolute liars. However, on the other hand, Anthony Davis still has not thanked the city of New Orleans, so don't expect to see him back.
No, I truly think that James Harden will be a Rocket again in the future. I think he's going to go the LeBron route, go somewhere else, win a ring or two, and then come back.
Yeah. How quickly do you think the Nets can win a ring
this year?
All right, immediately competitive. I mean, it helps they're in the Eastern Conference, right? So, like getting to the finals, they have an easy-ish route to do that, an easier route than the Western Conference. They just have to win once they get there.
And they're 9-1 without Durant, like in the last 10 without Durant.
Jeez.
And then you add in one of the best NBA players of all time. You automatically have arguably the best ball handler of all time.
Right.
In Kyrie, and then two of the best offensive scorers of all time. Arguably the best offensive scorer of all time in James Harden.
Yeah, I mean, you have some really incredible pieces across all this. Everything. It's really remarkable, honestly, what they've been able to put together. But it is an interesting sort of thing to see. You look at the Los Angeles Lakers, who can't seem to hold it together right now without Anthony Davis, but then you look at the Nets, who continue to win without probably their best player in Kevin Durant. It just goes to show you. You know what I mean? Like, I think that speaks volumes. That's a little bit of coaching. That's a little bit of camaraderie around the rest of the team. It's kind of that, I don't want to call it the next man up mentality, but I guess it is like the other man here mentality in a way, and that like everybody else around is also getting the job done.
Jim Chaney has joined the Saints as the offensive analyst. Did you see that?
As an offensive analyst?
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. I love good analyst hires. Yeah, there was some coaching. There's a bunch of coaching moves here. I know Ronald Curry moved to quarterback coach, which is fantastic. Brendan Nugent is heading up offensive line. Dan Rauscher moves from offensive line to tight end. Ryan Nielsen gets the assistant head coach job, which we already knew was going to happen. Chris Richard hired to work with the TBs. And then Zach Strief, former New Orleans Saint, as well as former voice of the New Orleans Saints with WWL Radio, now taking over as assistant offensive line coach as well.
You love to see it.
So love all those shifts. We knew that the Ronald Curry one was coming. That felt logical. So that's great. I want to know who their new vice president of pro personnel is going to be. That's my next big thing. That's the next big thing that I'm looking at. All right, why don't we go ahead and jump to we'll step away here for just a sec. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the Pittsburgh Steelers retaining their quarterback. We'll talk about that a bit. What's going on with Drew Brees? Are we going to ever get an announcement from him? What's going to happen there? And then we'll take a look at the slate of games for the NBA for this evening. We've got that and much more coming up for you here on Dylan and Ross Save Sports Full Press Coverage, Full Press Radio Network. Back with you here in just a moment. All right, and we're back. Technically on video. All right, buddy. Thank you very much for watching and for being here with us for Dylan and Ross today. We are on break over on the audio side. So this is usually just parts where Dylan and I either catch up with our day or you all drop things in your respective chats and comments and things like that. And if they pop up for us over here, we'll share them. Happy to talk with you. So feel free.
WandaVision finale.
I was gonna say you started the countdown at 24 hours last night.
Yeah. I'll pick it up after we go off air. But man, and Ron, you better bet that we're getting a Falcon and the Winter Soldier countdown.
Oh, I believe that.
Do you ever see the Anthony Mackie video talking about the Saints in the blown call?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, he's from New Orleans, right?
Yeah,
he's a big Saints fan.
Mm-hmm.
And he did
I remember him on Twitter.
He did an interview with Jimmy Fallon and was like, "Yeah, he's like he invited all of the referees down for Mardi Gras."
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "Yeah, we just want to have a chat."
I love it.
I
remember him on Twitter after all that.
I like Anthony Mackie. Apparently he did a Hot Ones. His Hot Ones episode released today, and apparently he's very, very Louisiana in it.
Good.
And I cannot wait to watch.
I love those Hot Ones interviews, man. They're so good. The questions are so good. The conversations are good. Good guests.
He is exactly who I am trying to model my interviewing style after. He's the best interview I've ever seen.
He's really good. He's really good.
He's really good at interview.
Yeah, super engaging and everything. Like he doesn't have to give you information to ask you a question. He just asks the question. Like it's super simple.
Because he knows you'll know it.
Right. Like, have you seen those atrocious posts? Hold on one second.
One of my biggest while you're looking, one of my biggest pet peeves is people being like asking a question and then answering it in the question.
Right.
And I did it for a while whenever I was like first starting out because you're just trying to figure out how to ask a question basically. But now it's a huge pet peeve.
Yeah, it's really bad because it's like this thing about how
I agree, Ross.
Sorry, how people will like ask a question and in the midst of asking a question, like let the person that they're asking the question know that they actually know the answer. It's like, that's not necessary. Like no one's there to hear you have the answers. Everybody's listening to who you're interviewing.
I sent you a TikTok, Ross. You should watch it.
Dope. All right, here we go. Coming back. All right, everybody. We are back here on Dylan and Ross Save Sports. What's the topic today? We got a lot that we're going through. Dr. Monk 1832. Appreciate you coming through for today's episode. Next thing we're going to be talking about, though, is going to be Big Ben. So Big Ben is remaining the quarterback in Pittsburgh. He will remain the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback.
Whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not. And then the way that this all kind of works out is that he essentially took a bit of a pay cut to stick around in Pittsburgh to help generate some cap space so that, the team can be built around him, a la, Drew Brees, a la Tom Brady, who have done things similarly in the past before as well. Particularly as these quarterbacks age in the NFL, it makes sense to sort of make sure that you're able to build up and build around that quarterback. And you need money to do that sometimes. And Big Ben helped to clear some of that space by sticking around in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
And so he reduced his cap hit. I can't remember how much. I'm trying to grab the actual breakdown of his contract right here. So he basically,
Dr. Monk, I hope he doesn't go. I hope he doesn't go bankrupt with the pay cut.
Yeah, for real. So he took his minimum base salary and voidable years to free up about $15 million of cap space, basically, is the way that it worked out. So he took a $5 million pay cut from $19 million to $14 million. And then I think that some of the rest of it got restructured into a signing bonus. Yes. And then about $12.925 million got restructured into a signing bonus. So that spreads out over 4 voidable years that were added to spread out the cap hit. And then he will work on a $1.05 million base salary, but he's actually getting paid about $13 million to play for the season, basically. So that's the way that the contract ends up working out. He'll stick around there. It frees up $15 million in cap for the Pittsburgh Steelers to be able to work on their offensive line. Of course, they have to replace Marcus Pouncey, which is going to be a huge task for them. And, continuing to build around, maybe that ends up freeing up money if they want to keep Juju Smith-Schuster, or if they want to let Juju walk and then maybe continue to build at other skill positions. If they need to replace James Conner, now, whatever it is they need to do, they have the money to do it.
Yeah, it's they need to retain their secondary is what they need to do.
That's a really big part of it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say go ahead?
I would say you can,
because it's going to change. It's going to change topic a bit.
Oh, I was going to say you can draft a replacement for James Conner easily,
right?
But you have an established like Mike Hilton and the other name that's escaping me.
Yeah. Would you say that Minkah Fitzpatrick is? Who would you say is the best safety in the NFL right now?
Free safety or like?
Oh, good question. Free safety, not box safety.
Minka's up there. I mean, Marcus Williams is up there. He's an elite safety.
Yeah.
And I just tired of the disrespect that he gets.
Disrespect is unacceptable.
Who else is up there?
Tyrann Mathieu played really well last season.
Tyrann Mathieu. He's like a hybrid though. He does a little bit of both.
Yeah, he does a little bit of both. He does do a little bit of everything. Eddie Jackson should be up there. Just in terms of his penchant for taking the ball away is just incredible. And for generating scores out of it too. Like that's the other part.
Budda Baker.
Yeah, Budda Baker's a little bit of everything too, though.
Yeah.
Like I kind of put him in the Tyrann Mathieu category.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, shout out to the Arizona Cardinals for just always having that mold. Always having that mold available to them. Yeah, I think that's great. I think Minkah Fitzpatrick is definitely up there, though, and deserves a ton of respect for what he does.
Anthony Harris is up there.
Anthony Harris, for certain. Justin Simmons in Denver.
Kevin Byard.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about Kevin Byard. Yeah, I mean, he's one of the top paid guys. He's up there in that Eddie Jackson, Tyrann Mathieu, Landon Collins pay category, even though I consider Landon Collins not right now one of the top safeties, but they're all in that, upwards, that upper echelon in terms of pay scale.
Micah Hyde.
Buffalo.
Yeah, from Buffalo.
Yeah. There's a lot of good safeties. There's a lot of good safeties on this market this season, too. Like Marcus May looks like he's not going to be retained in New York, which is kind of crazy with the Jets. I figured for sure they would keep him around. But there's apparently a little bit of a rift there. I know. I love the idea of him in New Orleans, man. If they can't keep Marcus Williams, I mean, he's a pretty easy. He'd be a pretty seamless transition.
Mm-hmm. No, I like Marcus. I hope we can keep Marcus.
Yeah, I do too. Let's take a look to one of the other moves from free agency. We talked about Kyle Van Noy the other day. He actually hasn't been released yet. They're actually trying to trade him first, but it's like a $12.95 million cap hit or something like that.
Oof.
And so tough to trade a linebacker at that price tag for sure. So I think eventually you'll probably see him get released, but the Dolphins haven't made the decision to release him just yet, based on the fact that they want to try to move him if they can.
Yeah. I think yeah.
Oh, I think I said 12.95. It's just 12.5. My apologies. His cap, his salary.
Mm-hmm. What do we got going on over in the NBA today, Ross?
Well, before we get to the NBA, let me point out one other story real quick, just to acknowledge it. You've seen all the news right now with switcheries in the last Super Bowl, really low views. The Super Bowl did have low views because the Super Bowl was a complete it was an embarrassment. But my understanding is that the sports ratings were still very good. I think that there's a certain population of people that will tell you otherwise, but my understanding is that sports populations or sports viewership has still been very good. But good question. He mentions he's not from the US, but still good questions. some information coming out about LSU former head coach Les Miles allegedly, or actually, not allegedly, an investigation found that he was texting female students and taking them to his condo. There was at least one female student that he also kissed. And things like that, saying female student workers who helped recruits needed to be attractive, blonde, and fit. All these other things. Yeah, kissing one at least once, taking them to his condo, all these other things. So this is gross. And I'm glad that it's coming to light, because anybody that does that deserves to be
Shamed.
It deserves to be known, and they deserve to be shamed, and then they deserve repercussions. And so throw the book, whatever the book may be. The problem is there a book?
Probably
Is
not.
there a book, or is he just going to be yet another guy to go out there and like sexually harass people that are just trying to make a damn living for themselves and trying to achieve their dreams?
Or just trying to go to class.
Just trying to go to class, right? Yeah, for real. And is he just going to be another man to go and do all of that and disrupt all of that and be a disgusting person and just walk away from it? Because there was a settlement, if I remember correctly, and then there was an issue to where he originally was fighting to not let any of the information be public along with the school, and then ended up flipping on that and then fought to actually have the records go public, so that he could combat journalistic bias and some journalistic incongruities and things like that. And come to find out, here it is. It became available. So he's in Kansas now. He's no longer with LSU, but this happened while at LSU. So you have to imagine that there are probably still some people at LSU that are still there that perhaps knew that some of these things were happening and were compliant in all of it. So shame on you.
Shame on you. At least we have a new athletic director.
It's true. There's a brand new athletic director.
There might be some turnover, but yeah, shame on you if you know about this kind of stuff.
Yeah. And more than shame, I hope that you are outed and that you are disciplined and that you lose your job. I have my sympathy meter is moved as a very influential person in my life recently said to me, but not about me. Thankfully, my sympathy meter is not moved. My sympathy meter is not moving at all for you, Les Miles, or anyone that aided in your atrocities. All right, now we can get to stuff with the NBA. We get a few games, or quite a few games tonight, pretty much a full slate. What games in particular do you have your eye on for this evening?
Obviously, Heat Pelicans, because it's national TNT game. We also got Raptors Celtics, could be fun. Celtics are reeling. Warriors Suns tonight is gonna be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And Nuggets Pacers maybe.
I think that is going to be a pretty fun one. Oh, you know who we should talk about from last night? First of all, Philly beat Utah. That was pretty big. But I want to touch real quick before we continue with tonight's games. Dame Lillard hitting a 3 to elevate the Blazers to a 108-106 win over the Warriors. And this comes after what ended up being a pretty hard night for Dame, or a hard week for Dame. So shout out to him for being able to get out there and play, and then draining that 3 at the end to elevate the Blazers to a win.
Yeah.
He just continues to put together remarkable moments, man. It's incredible. They'll play again tonight against the Sacramento Kings. The Sacramento Kings. I don't know what that accent was that started to pop out on me there. Do we get any Rockets action tonight, Dylan, or are they taking a night off?
They're taking a night off, much needed.
Do you think they're still gonna end up with a loss tonight?
It would not surprise me.
They just come back they come back tomorrow for their game with one
also,
more.
I was gonna say important to note that this is the last. These are the last games before
That's right.
All-Star break.
That's right. At the All-Star break coming
Week
up,
off.
and then so let me ask you this. How did you feel about the and the All-Star game, by the way, is going to be on March 7th. We do have like slam dunk competition. All those other things are still happening in our upcoming All-Star Super Spreader event. But when it comes down to the way that they released the schedule this year, is that something you think you would like if they did that every season, releasing half of the schedule and then releasing the back half of the schedule?
I don't know. It was good for the circumstances.
Sure.
I don't know about what else.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see if there's any interest in doing it permanently or more, like holding back the last quarter of games in the season.
You never know what's going to happen.
Never know, right? Like having that, because we don't know if like we might have, a nice period of time to where things are better, but then we don't know what the eruption is of something later or anything like that. And like, I think there's still too many unasked questions to just be like, okay, yeah, we're back to normal, and then immediately just go back to it. And so I wouldn't blame them for doing it again next season if they decided to do a full 82 game season and just do 41 games and then release the back 42 towards the end of the first half, just to make sure. I think that's a great idea. It certainly was helpful this year with the circumstances, as you mentioned, but I do think that it's something that could continue to be helpful moving forward.
Man, I'm not ready for WandaVision to be over. It just popped up on my timeline.
No worries. Did you see Matt do his he did an interview to where he was like, people who have been coming up with all these all these theories are going to be very disappointed?
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't asked him about it, but I'll see it.
Yeah.
We were supposed to be, we had a meeting Tuesday and I wasn't sure if I was going to see him or not, but he wasn't able to make it. Because, he's busy. As one would imagine.
With what?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it kind of isn't, but I mean, it's nothing that was ever their fault.
Right. Not at all.
It's just fans being fans.
It's fans being fans.
Zion probably not going to play tonight.
Oh, well, then I'm not watching.
It's the Jackson Hayes game, Ross.
Oh, I won't be watching.
Right fifth toe irritation.
Which one is the fifth toe? Is it the pinky toe?
Yes.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah. Pinky toe boo boo wasn't manly enough for the injury report.
Is that a tweet reply?
Yeah, from a checkmarked account.
Oh no! Oh no! I dig it.
Velveeta randomly, the little piggy that went wee all the way home.
Dang!
Velveeta reply.
What? Is this on the Pelicans account?
Yeah.
Velveeta throwing shots?
Yeah, the little piggy that went wee all the way home.
Dang.
Why
is Velveeta coming so hard?
Word?
Where's Velveeta's headquarters? Are they in Miami or something?
I don't know, dude.
Velveeta is in...
They're in Valhalla.
Genius.
Welcome to Veldorado. Wow, they have so many jokes. Velveeta tweeted out, "We're totally a babyface, but we might do a heel turn year. Stay tuned." And then now they're coming for Now they're coming for Zion for no reason.
Dang. Now they're in Monroe, New York.
Wow, I thought you were about to say Monroe, Louisiana, and I was like, where?
Self-hate. Self-hate. Oh, man. Dang, Velveeta taking shots.
Velveeta liked my quote tweet. Word? Big talk for a company that struggled staying in stock. You know what I'm
Dang.
saying?
Dang. Oh, the Pinky Boo Boo one from Jeff. That's hysterical. That's so
Yeah.
good. Oh.
Oh man, that's funny. I did not
Woof.
expect Velveeta. Wow, stop coming at me, Velveeta.
But they came at you too?
No, I'm just saying.
Oh.
Stop coming at Zion. What the hell?
I think maybe he turned down a Velveeta sponsorship or something.
Maybe. That's the only explanation. It's just so random. Why was that even on their Twitter feed?
That's very strange. Yeah, wow. They're really living in these mentions too.
I'm following Velveeta.
Velveeta tweets in all caps. That's crazy.
I'm DMing them talking about your latest tweet on my sports show right now. Any further comment?
Love it. They got 6 minutes. Hopefully somebody will come through.
I mean, they seem active. I'm gonna send them I'm gonna send them a link to the stream. Tell them to come on through.
Oh man, I love it. Oh, that's another big win. So Josh Gordon was released. He was already in the midst of being, he was in the midst of his indefinite suspension, but he was released by the Seattle Seahawks so that he can now play with the Zappers in the Fan Control Football League. So Josh Gordon should be eligible next week.
He's in the bubble.
Yep.
He's in the bubble.
So procedural thing to make sure that he's like off the books for Seattle before he plays with another football league and things like that. It makes perfect sense. Good of them to release and make that space. And so he now nothing in his way. He'll be back to football.
This is just an elaborate ploy for Zion to be able to avoid the All-Star game. I mean, maybe.
Who said that? Was that just somebody on Twitter?
Shamit Dua, he's the lead writer for Bourbon Street Shots.
Yeah, my boy. Yeah. Yikes. Mayhaps. Who knows?
I mean,
who knows?
I wouldn't blame him.
Yeah, for real. I'll take a hurt fifth toe over COVID any day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Man. Yeah. Wow. Crazy.
Sometimes I like to just sit there and let you work through your just let you work through your process.
Just living my life, man.
Hey, let me ask you, have you gotten any response to your great interview with Kobe Boyce?
Yeah, people seem to really like it.
That's awesome.
It was a good one, I will say myself. If I do say so myself.
You should say so yourself.
If I do say so myself, it was a really good one. Have you listened to it yet?
Not in full, but chunks. I'm at where it's about to turn.
Don't worry, Get back. What'd you do?
You know what I did do though, and this was a stupid decision on my part. Yesterday morning, I got up really early, like 5 o'clock,
Dummy.
and I couldn't go back to sleep. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just go chill. Like I'm gonna go write. And so I wrote that piece on JT Gray and David Onyemata's deals.
Mhm.
And then I watched, starting at 5:30 in the morning, I watched Judas and the Black Messiah.
Mhm.
Stupid.
Oh, Ross, go watch that TikTok that I sent you right now. Go watch it right now, live on air.
Let me be very clear though that when I say stupid, I don't mean that the movie was stupid. The movie was absolutely incredible. Me stupid for starting my day off by watching that film,
Yeah.
because that was not the greatest mood for me to be in for the rest of the day. All right, I'm watching this tweet. I'm watching this TikTok. Oh my goodness. I love that. I love that. That's going to be me with my kids, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to just tell them. I'm going to just be honest.
I haven't watched it yet.
It's incredible.
I will-
Daniel Kaluuya's performance, the only word I can think to describe it is Herculean. It is an incredible performance.
So you're saying he should win the
Everything.
Golden
Everything.
Globe,
Everything.
win the Oscar,
Everything. Give that man an Emmy.
win the
Give that man an
Grammy.
Emmy. Give him a Grammy. I don't give a damn. Give him a Tony. Like, he was incredible.
Give him a Mark. I'm just thinking of first names now.
Yeah, man. He was Herculean, like incredible.
I might watch that tonight before WandaVision.
You're gonna overload. That's sensory overload there. I know you're on like Lakeith Stanfield's great.
Lakeith Stanfield is one of my favorite. I think my favorite like character actor.
He's phenomenal. He's phenomenal. Yeah, it was an incredible movie, man. Like I wish that we could see. David Grubb and I talked about it. Where like I wish that in these films that are kind of like these like black hero biopics, that we wouldn't start at the peak and then go downhill the entire film. That's what always happens with these films. Like any black hero biopic starts like at the top of their, like at the peak of what they're doing, the greatness of what they're doing, and then it goes straight down because you're picking up from the highest point and going directly to the eventual assassination. Like no matter what, like, you know, any of these idols that we talk about. Very rarely do we see a movie to where it takes the full trajectory to take you from the catalyst or the impetus to hero. We always start at like this point and then we go immediately downhill from there. But either way, regardless, still phenomenal movie.
This might be the worst possible vacation tweet.
Okay.
Vacation update. Found out I have an appendix today. Also found out my appendix is actual dog water, so I have to get it surgically removed. More updates soon.
Oh my!
I think
goodness.
dog water is probably my favorite like insult.
Oh man, I love it. You know what this episode isn't? What the show is not? It is not dog water. Not dog water. But the fact that this episode is ending is dog water because we are at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So we got to wrap it up here. Dylan, anything you got before we wrap it up?
Velveeta was always overrated.
Yo, shots. Velveeta's nothing without Rotel, if we're being honest.
Got him.
If we're being honest. All right, y'all. We appreciate you very much for coming through today's episode of Dylan and Ross Save Sports. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Full press coverage, Full Press Radio Network, 5 p.m. We'll be live via the Full Press Radio app, as well as here on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and of course Twitter.
Velveeta hit us with a hashtag Let's Dance.
Let's dance. Okay, so now they are Zion fans. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't understand what's happening here. Playing the fence, Velveeta, as you always have between authentic cheese and cardboard. Appreciate you. Thanks everybody for coming through. We'll be back with you tomorrow, 5 p.m. Y'all stay safe.